Hi there, my name is Christopher Westfall. I want to welcome you to a webinar where we're going to discuss the opportunity that I found really was a lifesaver in my life, and that is the Medicare market and what it can do for you as well. So I'm going to run through a couple of things here that I prepared for you in advance, and I'm not going to try to sell you on anything. I just want you to know that. That is not at all my intent today. My intent is just to expose you to some opportunities that may exist outside of the world in which you currently live, and something that you may be interested in pursuing at some point in the future. That's really all this is. I don't want you to sell for me. I don't want your contract. I don't want you to pay me any money. I want more people that are experiencing the kind of frustration that I did to find out what I learned. And now I've got such a large network of successful people doing the same thing that I think it's time to let more people experience what I found out. So I think that's kind of neat. And so we're moving right along. Why Medicare Supplements? That's what we're going to talk about today. It's a niche within a niche within a niche. Thanks, Tim. My name is Christopher Westfall. First, let's talk about the big picture. Right now, there are more than 47 million people on Medicare already. Wow, that's a big number, right? Well, it is a big number, and as a matter of fact, only 29 million of those people are senior citizens. What? Where's everybody else coming from? Disability. It is an industry disability, and people who are disabled for more than 2 years and they're on Social Security, they get Medicare automatically, and they've got to go somewhere. You can kind of see the state breakdown here. I'm from Florida, and there are 3.3 million people. By the way, these are dated numbers. These are almost 3 years old. And Medicare has not come out with latest numbers yet. So this is an old statistic, and right now there's probably well over 47 or almost 48 million people on Medicare right now. So it's a humongous opportunity. And you've heard the number everywhere. 10,000 new folks turning 65 every day. I really don't care about that. I care about the 47 million that are already on it. 10,000 is a very small number when you're looking at the entire country. But you look at the big number who's already on there, and then replacing what they've already got becomes a wonderful, lucrative opportunity. So what is the growth potential of Medicare? Well, we know where we're starting right now, somewhere between here and the one on the right. That's where Medicare is right now. But look at 2020. Look at 2030. And a lot of people are just, oh, Howard Peck just contributed and said there are now 51 million people on Medicare. That is a new number. Thank you for that. That is absolutely amazing. Wow. So what about people who are on the internet? Let's see if we can marry this together and find a niche like I have. People who are over 65, people who are on Medicare, and people who are receptive to doing business online. Now, I saw a recent statistic. It shows that 8 out of 10 people research someone or something online before making a buying decision. 8 out of 10. And you can see here the trend line going up and up and up. You'll see all the adults that are over 65 embracing internet technology. As a matter of fact, we're over 59% right now and more every single day. If you know anybody that's over 65 years old right now, ask them if they're on Facebook. Talked to a couple yesterday, and I asked them where they found me, and they found me on Facebook. So I said, well, who is it, your wife, or did you find it, sir? And he said, oh, no, too much gossip on that, too much drama on that Facebook. My wife's on that thing all day long, looking at grandkids, looking at what's going on with the church, looking what's going on with the groups and politics and everything else. Facebook is dominating the world. And then if they're doing any kind of Google search out there, they're finding YouTube is the second fastest growing search engine out there. They're finding videos on things. We'll get into that much later. But if you're out there on YouTube and on Facebook and you want to reach the senior market, that's where they are right now, and it's almost free to do so. It's incredibly easy. Real quick about my background, I started as a police officer at the age of 19, running around on Daytona Beach. Most exciting thing that happened there was chasing a bank robber with the FBI in tow. They just robbed the First Union Bank on Seabreeze Boulevard in Daytona Beach, and I was on the four-wheeler and got to speed up in front of the people running in suits behind the bad guy and jump off the four-wheeler and tackle him. Thank goodness there was a lock on the foot brake right there. I can lock it, So I locked it, skidded the thing to a stop, and it was not a four-wheel drive, it was two-wheel drive, which is awesome for doing wheelies. But anyway, I was able to catch that guy and turn him over to them and not even do any paperwork. That was the best part of the day. So I spent my first stint in law enforcement on the beach in Daytona Beach during spring break, which is an incredible experience. And then later on went into the Army Reserves, did the military police thing there, went to Anniston, Alabama, where I did boot camp and MP school. Came back, worked in insurance just a little bit until I was convinced, actually the insurance company went bankrupt. It was Health Plans of America in Orlando, Florida. They went bankrupt, and I was an account executive with them, just getting started in the group benefits division. And a friend of mine called and said, hey, they need some help at the sheriff's office. They really need deputies there. And the best thing is you can do your insurance thing 2 days a week, and you can be a deputy with us for 2 days a week. I thought, that is fantastic. You know, I'll have the stable income, the benefits, 40 hours a week, even though it's tough doing 12-hour days. But, hey, I can do it, and I can keep selling by doing that. So that's what I signed up for. He neglected to tell me it's a 6-month training program that's 4 months classroom and then 2 months riding around with somebody. So kind of lost all my contacts in the insurance world. 6 months later, I emerged. I'm finally doing the 2 days on and 2 days off. So I started doing final expense insurance after that, and we'll get into that. Final expense. Final expense insurance is a wonderful niche. A lot of you on here are already in final expense. I know lots of you are already selling life through our little niche of diabetic life, which is a cool program. But traditional final expense selling means lots and lots of windshield time. And that's a little dumb picture of me in my Cadillac. I didn't have a Cadillac when I was doing it back then. But lots and lots of windshield time. You're going to a house, they stand you up, or worse, you're door knocking on a house with no prospect whatsoever of getting into the house. Or maybe you can get in there, and then you find out that the person has no money. Or if they want to buy, because everybody wants to buy a final expense plan. I mean, let's face it, these are people who have gone their entire life, screwed up their finances to the extent that they have absolutely nothing for final expenses, right? They waited 60 years, 70 years to finally get around to it. Now they're going to sign up with insurance with you. Wonderful, right? Okay. Now, you're going to solve all their financial problems in one fell swoop. Great idea. The problem with that is about 15 to 20% of those people will say, you know what, I've kind of paid these payments for a couple months, and I like my cable TV, I like my air conditioning, I like whatever it is, more than I'm going to care about little Johnny paying for my funeral. And they charge back. They loan you 9 months of the advance commission, and then you lose it all, and you have to pay it back to the insurance company. That's probably the part about final expense that I hated the most. Anytime a client would call me after the sale and I would see the phone number show up there, and you guys that have done final expense know exactly what I'm talking about, you're like, oh no, I just wrote her 2 days ago. Buyer's remorse, they're going to be canceling their policy, or I've got to work real hard to keep it on the books. Keep it on the books for 9 months, and then you're golden. Keep it on the books 13 months. Now the insurance company likes you. Your persistency is looking pretty good. But the aspect of building residual income, walk-away income, is just absolutely not there. And the people that you're dealing with, and I should have shown some pictures here, but the people that you're dealing with are in homes where sometimes the roof is like caved in a little bit. One house I had cockroaches run over the couch and run over my legs and keep on going. I actually paid to tent the person's house because they bought from me. They wanted insurance to cover their family, and they bought a good policy, and they never spent the time, or the money rather, to exterminate their house. So I did that for them, and I'm so happy. But anyway, that's the kind of house I was in all the time. No air conditioning, doors open, dogs running all around, dirt everywhere, just the lowest possible income folks you can deal with. Now contrast that to where we're going here, and it's a big life change. Now let's compare. Final expense, you're looking at about $500 per case. That's what you can expect. That's the commission that you're looking for, $500 per case, right? About 85% of the people, some worse, some better, will keep the policy past 9 months. You get a very tiny residual, which really turns out to be no residual at all if you think about it, because you're constantly playing catch up with that 15 or 18 or 20% that are going to fall off the books. So the residual income aspect of it is just, as far as I've found, a farce, because you're always losing people that have just signed up. And again, you're dealing with the lowest possible income prospects. Now, contrast that to Medicare and the Medicare supplement market. you're making $1,620. This is just my numbers. It may be more, it may be less, depending on which carrier, which state, and which products you're focusing on. But in my experience, it's about $1,620 lifetime value of a client, because you're getting paid 6 years residual income on that person, and that's if you do nothing after the first sale. I encourage you to do a lot after the first sale, like getting renewals, getting referrals, and checking their policy to see in later years if they're on the best plan. You know, touch them at least once per year, and you'll keep that trend going and going and going. But the lifetime value I look at a client is $1,620 for acquiring that new client, much better than $500. And that's paid out about $276 per year per client, again, depending on where you're marketing. If you're marketing towards people turning 65, you'll be at the lowest possible end of the income stream, because those people pay the least of anybody in Medicare. Yes, I know I'm talking fast. I've got an appointment at 11. Sorry. Okay. Medicare is all residual. It's all residual income. Sell it once, get paid again and again and again and again. And guess what? The people that you're dealing with are not low income. They're middle to high income. They don't have a problem with checks bouncing. How many times have you written a final expense case for you guys in the final expense market to find out that, oh, the draft just canceled. The draft went through and it bounced, and it bounced again. Oh, no, they got a letter. I got a letter, and I'm worried about it. Am I going to lose that charge, get that charge back from the company and lose that case? Got to call them, get a money order, mail it in, get it, you know. You don't have that, like, debit route mentality when you're in the Medicare space. With everybody that I talk to, they've already had a Medicare supplement. They've been paying the premiums without missing a payment for years. As a matter of fact, I never get the question, can I mail this in every month because, you know, I don't like people going to my bank account because sometimes there ain't money there. Or I don't have a checking account. I got in trouble with bouncing a whole bunch of checks and nobody will give me a checking account anymore. Got that all the time in final expense. Don't get that at all in Medicare. Not once. And then the little known secret that I'm not going to go into in great detail today, but Medicare is a gateway drug. What do I mean gateway drug? I mean it is your ticket to go into all of their finances when you've built trust, credibility, and you brought them money. See, the biggest thing about Medicare to me is that I can be in business of selling, but I'm not selling. I'm literally giving money away to people. My average savings for somebody is now $87 a month, and I keep track of that. Why do I keep track of it? Because then I can tell the next person, guess what? We're at $87 a month. And me personally, I've given over $1 million back to people, $1,000 at a time, given them back to people with their premiums that they would have paid to the insurance company if they never met me. So I think it's tremendous value to go to sleep at night realizing I just saved a little widow lady $1,200 or $1,700 a year on her same exact Medicare plan she had before she met me. She goes to the same doctor, the same hospital. Everything's covered the same, no change at all, except that now she's getting it much less expensively than she did before with the agent who signed her up when she turned 65 and disappeared off the face of the earth. So it's a gateway drug then, because then she's going to trust you with everything. And I always get the question, who do you know that sells life insurance? Do y'all do that? Well, who do you know that does homeowners insurance? Who can do my car, my auto insurance? Which is why it's great to make some contacts in your community and let people know this is what you do, because a lot of P&C people do not like dealing with Medicare. So be the Medicare guy, and you can bring reciprocal business back to them. It's a quid pro quo. I'll bring you P&C people if you take care of them, and you can bring me your Medicare cases, and I'll completely take care of them. As a matter of fact, there's an interview we did with a member of our site. She's in Texas, and she has gotten with financial planners in a certain way to become the go-to person, and she signs up. She told me the average is 38 people per month, and they're slam dunks. They're complete referrals. Write to her, hey, he told me to come to you. I'll do whatever you tell me to do because you're the expert. And you can do that, but it's a gateway if you're an independent person. If you're going to sell life insurance, annuities, long-term care, home health care policies, whatever else it is, often freeing up the money by saving them on their Medicare supplement to do just that, to get them to where they want to get to. It's a gateway drug. It's pretty cool. I mean, I love Medicare itself, but if you want to do some other stuff, it's great lead-in to first start with giving them money back. The old way in my life was, it was a rat wheel. You know, you're running and you're running and you're running. And you better not stop running with final expense, I'm talking about, or even working for the sheriff's office. If you stop, if you don't come into work, if you don't sell another policy, what happens? You don't get paid. And worse, in final expense, if you don't keep selling another policy, that chargeback is going to come up and slap you in the back of the head and say, okay, not only are you broke because you didn't sell anything, we want 7 months commission back. We paid you 9 months advance. We want 6 months of it back because Johnny Smith, who you signed up 2 months ago, quit. So we want that money back. Okay, got to go out there and sell some more. Got to go sell some more. Got to go sell some more. And translate that into, gosh, I started this full-time in 2008. It's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 7 years now doing this. And after about the 3rd or 4th year, we were free. And what I mean by free is free to go to Anna Maria Island, which is our favorite vacation place, for a month every year, take off, and anytime the kids would say, can we go to Myrtle Beach? We want to go see what's in Myrtle Beach, or we want to go to Arkansas to see Granny, or we want to go wherever to do whatever. You can simply say, yeah, let's go. You can't say, well, you know, I got to stick around here. I got leads coming in. I just paid $1,200 for a 2,000-piece mailer, and I got to go out there and run these leads right now. You don't, because you've got residual income. Whether you roll out of bed or whether you roll over in bed, you're still going to get paid with Medicare because it's residual income. You sell it once, and you get paid month after month after month after month, and they don't miss a payment because it's direct deposit. It is so hard for someone to raise their hand and stop something that's on automatic direct deposit with a premium, more so than it is if they had to go out there and pull out cash every month to make a payment on something. It's the perfect world. And again, we're saving people money. We're not selling something new. It's something they know, they like it, they trust it, they don't want to change, and then you show them with our methods here, you literally show them side by side that it's the same exact thing, then guess what? Now they're receptive to moving. Okay, great, it's the same thing. Or even call your doctor, find out it's the same exact thing. They don't care which one you're on. So I mentioned this before, Medicare Supplements, just a closer examination of it, about $270 per year, residual income coming in. My numbers, or was this given to me by Ron, one of the guys I work with? I can't remember. It's $22.50 or $22.75 is about our average per member per month. We've been writing a lot with New Era, Philadelphia American. Love the people there, but their commissions are less than everybody else, so that brought our average case size down some. But it depends on who you write and where you're writing in the country, and we've got some tips on that as well. So let's talk about the two different options within Medicare itself. And everything that I've said up to this point has all been about Medicare Supplements. So a lot of agents who have been exposed a little or a lot or taught one specific way will tell you that you need to do Medicare Advantage, man. That's the growth industry. You need to do Medicare Advantage. Okay, well, let me just tell you my take on it, all right? And I'm open and I'm receptive to yours. First, with Medicare Advantage, you've got to recertify every year. You've got to take the AHIP exam, which some people say takes 4 hours, some take 8. And if you fail it twice, you can't sell for the year. You're done. And you have to pay $100 or $150 for the test, depending on if somebody's sponsoring you. Then that's just the first step. Then you've got to get certified with every company and every product within every company every year to recertify, or you don't get your money. And let's look at the positive aspects of Medicare Advantage. It's going to pay you roughly $200 per year for that person. The bad thing is it's an annual contract. So every year that completely changes. The compensation can change. The networks are changing daily. I mean, if you look in the news, go to news.google.com, that's searching all the news, and type in Medicare Advantage and see what the news is talking about. This hospital network in New Jersey just cut thousands of doctors because of Medicare Advantage. Maryland, Arkansas, all over the country, they're cutting networks and they're reducing hospitals and the hospitals' networks, which is doctors, because of the Medicare Advantage cuts that are going on. And you talk about customer service, where you have to sit there and answer the phone, which is ringing and ringing and ringing with these kind of problems. They didn't accept my copayment. My copayment was more than they said it would be. My deductible for going in the hospital is $1,800. Are you insane? You lied to me. You told me this was a free plan. No, I didn't. I showed you the schedule of benefits there, and you signed for it. No. I thought this was free. Why did I get this $1,800 bill for going in the hospital? Madder than fire. Or go into a hospital emergency room where the hospital itself is in network, but the ER doctor's not, and he direct bills the client. And then they get into that whole fiasco, and you get involved to help them with the claims. networks changing all the time. Somebody signed up with the doctor network. They were in the network when they signed up in the Medicare season in October, November, whatever. Come January, that doctor gets a notice that he's no longer part of the network. Who's that client going to blame? Who are they going to raise holy hell with? You. And if they don't get satisfaction with you, they'll complain to the carrier, or worse, complain to CMS. And then you're in an investigation right in the middle of AEP, right in the middle of the annual season. You can't sell for 1 week or 2 weeks while they investigate that. No, thank you. Conversely, in my world, again, $270 per year per client, and if you're working in the higher age group like I do, 70 to 75, that's a higher number. It's a higher number for those people. And they can go to any doctor and any hospital that's currently accepting Medicare, period. So that's almost everybody. They go, if I want to go to this specialist, I can go. I don't need a referral. I don't need somebody's permission. They're not in the HMO network. I can throw that network book away. I never have one again. I can go to any hospital? Yes. You want to go to Johns Hopkins because you got a rare form of brain cancer? Go. You got some other kind of cancer that MD Anderson in Houston is better at treating? Guess what? Pick up the phone, make an appointment. It's paid for. It's covered. You're out of the country and you have an emergency and you need medical care? It's paid for. Well, what happens if the doctor's going to bill more than Medicare will allow? You know, I heard that Medicare doesn't really pay a lot towards doctors and they're kind of mad at it. Well, the plans that we sell, they have excess charge coverage. They'll pay the excess charge too. So you literally walk out of there paying nothing. Any doctor, any hospital. And as opposed to an annual contract with a Medicare supplement, it's guaranteed renewable for life. Just like life insurance, when it's whole life, if they continue to pay the premium, they continue to get the same benefits that they signed up for. We have people from the 80s that were on Plan J. They're still on Plan J today because they don't want to lose the benefits that they signed up for. They were richer in some cases than Plan F is today. So they can keep that plan as long as they want to. It's written in stone. It will not change as long as they keep paying the premium. Talk about certainty and trust. That's what seniors really want. They don't want an annually vacillating contract like we're having right now, where 3 years ago the maximum annual out-of-pocket on a Medicare Advantage, the most you can expect to pay in a really, really bad health year, used to be $3,400 in a year. Now it's $6,700. $6,700, and that's just in one calendar year. If that bad thing happened to you in November or December, like happened to my grandmother, then you're readmitted to the hospital in January. Guess what? Your maximum out-of-pocket on the Medicare Advantage resets and starts all over again. Medicare Supplement, there's no such thing. You're not going to pay a dime more than the premium that's in your monthly draft. You want to go to the hospital and have a hip replacement? Not going to cost you a dime. You have open heart surgery, you spend 3 weeks in the hospital with a cracked open chest, not going to cost you a dime. And people like the certainty, the guarantees, and the renewability, and the stability that they're finding in Medicare supplements. That's why they vastly outperform Medicare Advantage and head-to-head who's signing up for what. And there's no service calls of people complaining and whining that they had a copayment that wasn't accepted, was the wrong amount, their deductible wasn't right, the doctor said he's no longer in the network. You get my point. So that's why I like Medicare supplements. It's what people want to buy. They're already buying it right now. We replace it with the best plan that's in the marketplace, and one plan is not going to pay the doctor any more than another plan. They all pay the same thing. And George Bush used to say, I'm the decider. Well, guess who the decider is on whether or not a Medicare supplement pays the bill? It's Medicare. If Medicare pays the 80%, the supplement is going to automatically pay the 20%. Medicare is the decider. If it's not a medically necessary claim, they want to go get a lip augmentation or whatever it is, it's not going to be paid by Medicare, therefore it's not going to trigger the Medicare supplement. It's just that easy. It either is or it isn't, but they're not going to complain to you that an insurance company didn't pay something because Medicare didn't pay it. And that's who they'd have to complain to, is the federal government. But we don't have problems like that. So how does Obamacare fit into all this? It doesn't affect Medicare supplements at all. Isn't that nice? Does it affect Medicare Advantage? Oh, yeah. And this is from the Heritage Foundation. All they did is they put together this graphic. The actual data from the graphic comes from Kaiser Family Foundation, from CMS, from the government. from the Wall Street Journal and from the Congressional Budget Office. So if you don't like the graphic, you don't like conservative politics, that's your problem. But if you don't like the numbers, you have to deal with the government and an independent organization out in California, which says right here, 15 million seniors rely on Medicare Advantage right now, and 7.4 million of those seniors will find that they're losing their plans by 2017. That's what CMS in the administration put out. That's expected. They know that's going to happen because of the fact that they're reducing the plans right now. They're reducing the reimbursements to the plans. These numbers are not in dispute. They come from the same administration that came up with the Affordable Care Act. Where do you think they made it affordable from? From taking it from right here. So sorry if you don't disagree, but we can have different opinions but not different facts. This is what my office looked like in Florida. Now I have an office in Charleston, which is where I am right now as I'm sitting on the phone with you. This is what my desk looks like, and it still does today. I have one monitor on the left-hand side, one monitor on the right-hand side, a little camera so I can wave at people and look at them, kind of like this. Hey there! And I sell entirely by phone. It started when Hurricane, Floyd came through Florida. We had like 4 hurricanes in 1 year. It was absolutely nuts. And I realized, why am I trying to get out there? Like a construction worker, I can't go to work if it's nuts outside. If it's raining and storming and all that, I've got nowhere to go. But if I could pick up the phone and work with people over the phone, then I can do it from absolutely anywhere. And that's what I do with my kids. When they say, hey, can we go on vacation and go somewhere? I'll say, sure, absolutely. Let me just bring the laptop. I bring my laptop, which you can see that's off to the side, recording this thing here. There's my wonderful office right now. And this is what I do with my seniors. I'll get them on the video conference with me just like this, which is very, very simple, and it does not matter where I am or where they are right now as long as you build the trust and rapport. That is key, and I'll talk about that in just a second. But I'll say, have you seen the Medicare and You guidebook? Do you have one of these? Instantly, I'm associative trust with what they've already got on their desk. They pull it up and they go, yeah, I've got that. Now, they probably by now have the 2015 version. And I'll ask them to take action with me. It's a call to action. Can you get your book real quick? I want to show you something so that you can see that I'm telling you the truth and where I'm coming from. Getting old. Okay. So I'll get the book out and I'll say, now on your book, if you can look on page 68 in your 2014 version, I always have to adjust my light there. And if you don't have the book, that's okay. I'm going to focus for you. All right? I'm going to focus on my version for you. And what it says is, this is the biggest question that they have. How do I compare Medigap policies? That's Medicare Supplements. That's the government's word for it. They make it kind of corny. How do I compare Medigap policies? Well, the government says different insurance companies charge different premiums for what? And I let them tell me. For the exact same policy. Right. So as you're shopping for a policy, be sure you're comparing the same policy letter from one company to another. You'll find different premiums for the same thing. Now, if you look at the opposing page, you'll see these are all the plans available for Medicare. I sell 3 of these plans, F, G, and N. That's it. So I learned 3 plans. F covers absolutely everything. See that? Everything. G covers absolutely everything with one little box missing, and that's a little deductible there. That deductible costs them currently $147 a year. That's the only difference. And by picking Plan G, and I've got lots of training on this on my site, by picking Plan G and agreeing to pay that $147, they'll often save $500 to $1,000 the first year. So if I can give you $500, and then when you go to the doctor, you've got to pay just a measly up to $147 for the whole year, doesn't that make it a good deal for you? You net $300, $400, $500 in savings even the first year. And there are a lot more reasons to pick G that I'll go over in detail later. And then there's Plan N. If you're really, really, really cost conscious and you don't go to the doctor a lot, Plan N has co-payments and all that kind of good stuff. So 3 plans I learned. That's it. And you'll find that 99% of seniors have Plan F. So if they want Plan F, I'll keep them on Plan F. I don't care. That's fine. If you don't want to listen to me about the value and the benefits of Plan G, I'll keep you on Plan F. But let's look at the market right now, and I can look with them together on my screen, and I can show them the quotes side by side of, well, here's your company at 170, and here are 20 companies above that that are cheaper, starting at 101. So why would you want to pay $170? We found out from Medicare that they're all the same, and they are exactly the same, accepted at any doctor and any hospital in the country, all exactly the same. But you need somebody to be on your side. You need an advocate. Now, when's the last time you heard from your agent? Crickets. Well, I don't even remember his name. Well, he came around when I was turning 65, but we hadn't seen him since. Okay. Well, somebody should be shopping this for you at least every 2 years, and we should do it every year. So let's just take a look at where you are compared to what the marketplace holds. And that is what we do. Rinse and repeat. None of it works, though, if you don't first build a premise of trust with the person. And I'll talk about that because that is what absolutely changed my business from 1 out of 3 to 8 out of 10. And that's a big difference in closing. And this is what I discovered. Seniors are shocked by the bad stuff you give them, right? They're paying too much? Oh, no. But I'm not going to give that business to you because I don't know who you are. I can't see you. I've never heard of you before. I've never heard of that insurance company before. Without the trust factor, you won't sell much of anything, ever. And it's more challenging to get the trust over the phone if you don't know how. And that's what I spent all my time researching and reading and researching and inventing the method that I use today on how to build the trust, because that means everything. So if you're a frustrated guy who's been trying to sell over the phone, like this guy up in the corner, there's a way you can get over that wall. And if you don't get over that wall, you're going to have the angry old lady saying, "Don't call me again. You're just soliciting me. I'm going to report you to the government because you're trying to sell me on something." That is a wall. That is a wall and a lie. And that's all she's going to believe unless you can bridge that gap. And here's what I kind of came up with. 3 different kinds of people I've encountered in my years doing this. One, very, very low threshold, no problem at all. Just show them the right company, the right rates, tell them what it is, and they'll say, "Yep, let's go do it." And you can get them with your charm and your tenacity. You can get them with your big words that you use or whatever. They're going to be a lay-down close. No problem. Easy picking, low-hanging fruit, whatever you want to call it. Then there are the people that are of medium skepticism. These people need more trust. Well, who are you? Tell me who you are. And if you solve that for them, okay, we'll go forward. Burden of proof is on you, and they're going to make you do that. Prove it to them. No problem. Then there are the very skeptical people, and we deal with them differently. We have to bring more ammunition to that gunfight. But it's now doable, where 7 or 8 years ago it was not. You know, when I started this 7 or 8 years ago, there was one company that had an electronic application. It was Mutual, and it was bad. It was horrible. That's the only one. With all the other companies that we wrote, Sentinel, Forethought, GPM, Gerber, everybody else, they had a PDF paper application that I figured out how we can still turn into an electronic application and still do it my method without having to mail it to people. And that method now has been, it's just copied and copied and copied throughout the industry. Very proud of that. Well, this past week, we solved the last company that I sell in my lineup of companies, probably 30, that did not have an electronic application, now does, and that's Stonebridge Life. Love it. So now every company that you could potentially sell and make a great living at has an electronic application where the person does not have to get a piece of paper and sign it. Isn't that awesome? It is so much easier now than when I first got started. So much easier. So this is how, by the way, you bridge that gap. On the immediate sell, write the application. Stop talking. Don't explain anymore past, "Well, that sounds good. How do we get this started?" The next one that talks after that loses. And if you're talking again about, "Well, let me tell you more about this plan," or "Let me tell you more about me," let me tell you about, I'm telling you, agents do this. And they talk themselves right out of a sale, give too much information, and then the person's left going, "Well, I think I need to think about this. I didn't know there was this much involved." If you hear that, you're just simply talking too much. You need to shut up and write the application. And I've had a lot of agents that have gone through that experience, and then they come out the other side a better agent because they just talk too much. Then there's the middle of the road people. They would like to see the quotes right in front of them, which you can show in a screen share, very easy. And then they may need to see the Medicare and You guidebook. And they may need to see for themselves exactly where that's found. by popping on the video in your screen share just like this, you can show them and refer back to the book that they may or may not have still laying around, depending on how organized they are. And then lastly, if that does not do it, you can turn on a camera, go through a credibility presentation that I've got one developed. It's pretty darn neat, and you can download it from my site and change it to be yours. Show them your state license, which you can put in the presentation. It makes it so easy. Then show them the quote, then show them the Medicare and You guidebook, and then take them right to the application, and then shut up. You just drop them off the application. Hey there, my name is Chris Westfall. How you doing? Can you see me today? And they always say the same thing, always. And those of you who are already doing it know what I'm talking about. They're saying, oh no, can you see me? No, dear, I can't see you. This is a one-way camera. I just wanted to pop in and say hi to you. And they love that. And every time they start talking about, if you form them, anybody that's ever studied Danny Johnson's sales training, form them, family, occupation, recreation, and then your message, ask them about their family. Ask them about their occupation. Where did they come from? What did they retire from doing? What do you do for fun out there? Bowling, bingo, whatever it is. Get them to talk about that and listen with active listening skills. And when you're listening, when you've opened the door and they're talking about what their passion is in life, listen like this. Wow. You want to build trust with somebody real quick? You do that. Do the form method and let them see you paying attention. And definitely don't turn on the camera and then go, I'm going to hit my mute button. Hey, what are we doing for lunch today? If you ever make that mistake, it'll only take once. So you turn on your camera. You go through the credibility presentation, which is a nice slideshow, very easy to construct, and I've already got the template for you. Show them about your background. Show them about pictures from where you came from. Show them your family pictures. And the wall starts coming down. It happens in every case. Show them your state license in the state that you're calling in. If you're marketing in that state, guess what? You've got a license or a printout of the license. You can put that right in your slideshow. Show them the quote right on the quote engine. Don't hide anything. Show them all the plans. This is why I'm recommending this plan, because it's 7 companies down from where you are paying. Now, I could write you the plan that's right underneath what you're paying, save you $5 a month. I'll make more commission from doing that. But that would not be the right thing to do. So I'm showing you as an open book every company that's out there, and this is why I recommend the best value for you. This is why. And that's where the referrals come from. This agent showed me I was paying like 8 companies away from the best rate, and he put me with the best company out there. Show them the Medicare and You guidebook. That's government verified backing for you. And then just pull up the electronic application and say, look, here's the electronic application right here. If you did want to proceed, all we got to do is type in the information. The best part is there's no signature required. I just merely type it in with you looking over my shoulder to make sure I spell everything correctly, and it's done. They call you for a verification of the fact that you wanted to sign up, make sure you're a real human being, and that's it. Your policy is delivered in just a few days. And you can start enjoying those rates that are $70, $80, $100 a month less. Same doctor, same hospital. And you can have the joy of calling Blue Cross or Bankers Life or whoever it is and saying, you know what, as of the first of the month, I no longer need your services. They're like, oh, I'd love to do that. That'd be great. I would love nothing more than that. Okay, well, here's the application. I just need the correct spelling of your last name. And then shut up. And that's how you get through the difficult people. And it works. It works, it works, it works. Well, you might say, these people are not online. Seniors don't have access to computers. They're not going online. Bet me. The more affluent the senior is, the more likelihood they're going to be online. That's who we're calling, by the way. Did you know you can sort the people that you choose to deal with by age and income and location? You sure can. And if you're prospecting in the target pool of people who have money and are certain ages, right up to 74, 75, very high likelihood they either have a computer and they go online, 70% chance, and this is an old number, it's more than this now, or they know somebody who does go online, a neighbor or a daughter or a son, or they can sit there with them. And you want to get a kid on board, show them the quote engine. They will get madder than fire at where their old agent has let them linger and linger and linger with higher and higher rate increases with no service. Show them those numbers, And when they're sitting there, they just got mom on the computer, you know, so they can see this, and they're on speakerphone, and say, I just want, in full disclosure, to show you where you are compared to the market. Very easy to do that. Oh, and the quote engines, they're free. No cost involved there. So I started a website a few years ago because I found that working for free just didn't do me and my family any good. And I was giving advice and showing my credibility presentation and what I was learning with the camera and the electronic applications and the signatures and the shortcuts, and I was showing that to anybody who cared. Anybody who wanted to see it, they heard about it, they would call me up, and I'd go through everything with them, one-on-one. Well, it was just running me ragged, and I was spending more time with new agents that aren't even working with me necessarily, and going over the same stuff over and over again. I said, why don't I just record this stuff, put it online, and make it available to a select people who have shown that they're already serious about the business. And boy, that weeded out 9 out of 10 agents, most of which will just see the information and go, oh, I have to pay for information on how to sell? Forget that. I'm not investing a penny in my business. And in most cases, honestly, gosh, I shouldn't say this, but I don't care. Most agents who will say that to me have a wife or another spouse, a different spouse if it's the wife, whatever. They have a spouse that's working a full-time job that provides the benefits and provides the lion's share of the income earnings for the house. And that alone is why they won't invest in their own education. Boy, I'm going to wait for all the people to drop off the webinar. And that's fine if you do. There's a significant segment of our agents, and I've only talked to about 5,000 of them in the last 8 years, that are supported by somebody else, and they don't give a rat's patootie about investing in themselves to make themselves any better. And that's fine. Those guys will be chasing the next shiny object from here to kingdom come. I see those people come back about every 2 years and go, are you still selling over the phone? That sounds like a lazy way to riches. I want to do that from my couch and my underwear. Why don't you show me everything? And now I'll say, hey, it's all on the website. It's on the website. There's a barrier to entry to show that you're serious about your own dadgum business. People don't appreciate what they don't pay for. That is a fact. Heck, the price should be $2,997 to access the information, but it's not. But some will, some won't, so what? I'm going to work with, and I've chosen to work with people who stand up for their business and say, I'm interested. Let's work together, or let's not work together. I'm training people that work for Senior Market Sales, Senior Marketing Specialist, Gordon Marketing, Ritter, what's the other one? AmeriLife, Precision Senior Marketing. All of them, they're on my site. Why? Because they've got people who get their contracts. They're paid a salary. God bless them, great marketers at all of these organizations. I know them, and they don't know how to train the person on how to sell. Great, you've got contracts. You've got a lead vendor that wants to take your money. You don't know what to say. You don't know how to make the bridge over to the trust side, or make the electronic application work, or follow up so you get referrals. It's really all that's involved. Or you don't have a community of like-minded people who are mentors within a community to share best practices with each other. That's what this is really all about now. So, yeah, you can get scripts from anywhere. Are they working? Are they working now? And you can be invited to pre-launch updates like on the Stonebridge thing. Our agents were testing it before anybody else. Same thing with the Aetna electronic application. We had access before anybody else did. Had a lot of influence in the reconfiguration of the Mutual of Omaha e-app, which is now one of the best in the industry. The Sentinel one, they didn't listen to us too much, and it's really floundering. But sometimes they listen, sometimes they don't. But the insurance companies know we've got a big following that does everything by phone, and we're on the pre-launch, what do they call it, beta testing group for these electronic applications. And then we interview people who it's working. I've got a list right now of my agents who are writing business all the time. They're sending support tickets. Hey, I've got this unique case. What should I do? Guy had cancer 2 years and 3 days ago, but he's still taking a preventive drug. Can I take him? Guy's got blood pressure problems and diabetes, but he's taking 49 units of insulin once a day. Who will take him? Those kind of things. And I'm helping those guys. And those guys that are writing apps right now, I've reached out to them and said, hey, we've got to stop everything so we can interview you and what's working and all the business that you're writing and share that with the collective group. And they're doing it. It's our expert interview series, and that's already there. Accessible 24 hours a day, not like you have to go to a certain webinar and maybe miss it, because you should be talking to people during the day. And then members at MedicareAgentTraining.com have discounts on marketing tools. They use a dialer that works great. The CRM that we have works great. We'll import any old CRM into it. I don't make any money from that, by the way. And then leads as vendors come available, and then I'll test them. a community forum where you can share ideas, find out what's working, go over scripts. Hey, propose this script. What do you guys think? And your own domain name. Now I have my own server that hosts more than 200 different websites for people, and we constantly are upgrading that with more RAM, more server size and speed. You can have your own domain there and have your own website, whatever you want to put on it. I don't care. And then support and motivation and help in getting cases issued. That's what I do all day. What's the massive cost of this? Is it a 3-year massive contract? No. It's simply a good faith stepping forward and saying, you know what, I want to be a part of something bigger than me. I want to be a part of something where I can find out what's going on now and get updates and ask questions to somebody who's actually writing applications every stinking day and what's going on in the industry. What's happening with Medicare Advantage right now? Who are the good players, who are the bad players, what insurance companies are going to launch in what state when, and who's having a rate increase and all that kind of good stuff. You can get it by being plugged in. And that's really all this is about, just about being plugged in. And that's about the end of my sales pitch, because it's really not one. I encourage you to get involved in something besides yourself. Go to a local networking group if you want to work locally, but you don't have to. I'm licensed now in 42 different states. It blows my mind. 42 different states. And you know why? Not because I said, you know what, the state of Washington looks like a good state that I'm not in. No. It's because somebody called me and said, I've got a brother that lives in Washington State, and he's turning 65 or he's 67, and he's with this company, and they raised his rate. Can you help him? So I'll call him and look at the application in that area and say, you know what, I could help you, and you would qualify for that. Let me get my license activated there, because I've not sold there yet, and we'll get that going. So that's happened more than 41 times in non-resident states. So you're going to ask them questions here, and this is the one that I get all the time. Well, what kind of licensing and certification is involved to sell over the phone or to sell in other states? That's the best part. If you've got an insurance license, you can sell in all the other states. All you have to do is activate your non-resident license in that state and get appointed there. How do you do that? You go to NIPR.com, National Insurance Producers Registry. If you forget, don't worry, it's on my site with a list of all the costs for each individual state. So you pick a state that you want to market in. I've got some really good favorites based on our experience in those different states. You can look at that. Pick a state and go to NIPR.com and apply for the license. You'll generally have it the same day or within 2 days at the maximum. Certification, no. There's no certification, annual or otherwise, to sell Medicare supplements. Now, one exception to that is AARP, which I don't call certification. I call it indoctrination, where it's a branding thing, and they want you to know all about the brand and don't represent the brand wrong. And AARP is the sole single source provider of God's green earth Medicare supplement. I don't sell AARP, by the way. A little bit biased there in what they've done to my clients. So I don't sell them, but they're the only ones that require certification, and it's not a state thing. It's not a countrywide thing. It's just a carrier, and they're the only ones that have that kind of ridiculous requirement there. Somebody might ask, well, isn't this sector saturated? Aren't there tons and tons of agents that are doing the same thing? Isn't it just too many people calling a finite number of seniors? Let me show you an article that I just saw this morning. Agency producers could lead to agency unemployment crisis. And it's talking about the amount of boomers and retiring people. Look at this. According to the management consultancy, a typical independent agency owner has turned 53 years old in 2012, now 55, while the average producer age is hovering around 50. With those statistics, it would take 3 young producer hires for every 1 producer currently employed just to maintain the same number of independent agents and brokers by 2020. We need 3 times more agents just to keep up with what we're losing with agents retiring. And here's another article. It's got more statistics on that. And they look anecdotally at this guy. He's 56 years old, and he looked out at the audience at the MDRT, and he said, I'm 56, and I'm on the low side. He's the young one. It's pretty scary, he says. Where's everybody going? They're getting old in the insurance industry, and they're not here anymore. We need younger blood. We need more people to take up the slack, because people are just not there. And here are the latest Medicare numbers, by the way. Yep, showing 50 million people in this little demographic here. So is it getting saturated? No, don't think so. Not at all. What about Obamacare? Yeah, I covered that. That's a question. If you have a question, you can type it in there. I've got till 9 more minutes till I've got to get. But I want to answer your questions. And then look, if you're a member of the site, go to the support tab anytime and I'll be happy to help you there. That's what I'm here for. Here's Obamacare and what's going on with Medicare. It's affecting Medicare Advantage. Medicare Advantage. Where'd the money come from? Came from Medicare Advantage. Medicare supplements are not touched. If you're in the Medicare Advantage world, you're constantly having to apologize and move the person. Apologize and move the person. I got a call from an agent about 6 weeks ago who said, I just found out that the plan I've been selling is gone from the state of Arkansas. I've got over 1,000 people I've got to move now. Got to move them. Got to move them all. Got to move them now. Because the contract changed. Doctor's gone. Or the plan's gone. You have to rewrite everybody that you did. Guess how much residual money you make if you end up rewriting somebody over and over and over just to keep that money coming? You lose out on the only season in which you can sell Medicare Advantage. See, Medicare Advantage can only be purchased between October 15th and December 7th. That's it. October 15th and December 7th. That's it. Medicare supplements can be purchased 365 days of the year. I don't work on Christmas. Somebody else can write that app. But you can buy a Medicare supplement plan anytime you want to during the year. That's another tremendous advantage. Anytime at all. It's pretty darn cool. So I got more questions coming in here. Let's see. You can't fix stupid. That's true, Tim. That's exactly true. Can you talk about cold calling? What kind of approach is working best? Thank you. And yes, your site is worth more than you charge. Thanks, Matthew. Cold calling is still working. Matter of fact, Joe, who I'm going to do an interview with as soon as we can both get our calendars together, is writing a ton of business right now, all completely through cold calling. Now, I've moved on from cold calling, and I work just exclusively referrals now and internet marketing from a YouTube presence that I put out there. And if you want more on that, you can see it on the site as far as what I'm doing on YouTube. Or heck, you can just go to my site on YouTube. If you go to ChristopherWestfall.info/YouTube, ChristopherWestfall.info, they stole my .com. And I want to look at some statistics here. If you put stuff out on YouTube, people will eventually find you. That's pretty darn cool. So I've spent some time putting things into YouTube here, and lifetime views right now on my YouTube page, 285,000 views. That's over 250,000 views. In the last 28 days, 17,000 views, 87,000 minutes watched, just in the last less than a month, and that's crazy. So these are some of my latest videos and who's watching them and where they're watching them from. So I do marketing now on Facebook and on YouTube. On Facebook, if you want to have a marketing presence there, just create a business page, and you can put articles and things that are new with regard to Medicare, what's happening, and then you can promote this post, which is really cool. Oh, look at that. There's an article about Medicare Advantage plans and their shrinking networks. 5 problems with Medicare Advantage from csmonitor.com. And you can put this out there, and then you can boost. See how it says boost the post right here? You can boost this post to get in front of lots and lots of people. Like, here's an example right here. This is a post about 310,000 AT&T retirees being told they no longer have company-sponsored benefits. I put this post out there with a link to a news story and a call to action for people to call me if I can help them. See, here's my phone number on Facebook. Then I boosted this post to people who had worked for AT&T that are over 65 years old, and it showed up right in the news feed, and my phone blew up. I had to turn this off. Blew up. So this reached 5,540 people. Look at this. And this is not a Medicare, a Facebook training, I know that, but look at this. I actually paid to reach 5,274. That means it showed up in their news feed, just like all the grandchild pictures, right in their news feed about this big thing about AT&T losing their benefits. And then beyond that, oh, where did it go? Right there. 270 people shared it themselves. That didn't cost me anything. They just shared it because they're like, hey, everybody, look at this. And then what happened is somebody shared it within a private Facebook group just for these retirees, and that's why I have 400 lead sheets on my desk right now of people to call back. So you can promote any of these posts. This one I promoted and reached 7,572 people. Then people started liking my page, and this is a recent site, and still 140 people are these are all seniors that are in target demographics, are being updated every time I post something, then they start sharing that with other people. So to address cold calling, does it work? Yes, it still works. Agents are doing it all day, every day, and the cost is nearly free. I mean, they're paying $70 a month for an unlimited dialer to talk to thousands of people at a time if you want to, and it doesn't cost anything beyond that. So if you're just getting started, yes, that's a great way to go. Then hire somebody else to do the cold calling and start experimenting with internet marketing like I'm doing. I think it's the greatest way to go. Jim says, can I start selling through you? Yes, you can, but you don't have to. That's my biggest message. There's nothing I like doing worse than signing and sending in contracts, because it's just administrative stuff. I'd rather be selling and helping agents that are actually selling. Happy to do contracts for you and help you in the right direction, but that's not what this is about. You can get contracts through anybody, and I'm certainly not offended, and you can still come to the site and get going. So wherever you get contracts from, and there are a lot of good FMOs out there that do contracting for you, you're more than welcome to get contracts from anywhere. They're all the same contract, same level. John says, oh, John wants to be arbitrary. Not if a person can't get out of their Medicare Advantage plan, you cannot sell Medicare supplements year-round. That's right, John. I'm not in the Medicare Advantage market. I may have left that out. I'm in the Medicare supplement market, so I don't go after people who are on a Medicare Advantage plan. Typically, once you get somebody on a zero premium plan, the only time they want to get off that plan is when they go use it. And when they go use it, they'll seek you out saying, oh my God, this plan is horrible. This Medicare Advantage plan, I'm having to pay hundreds of dollars here and hundreds of dollars there and thousands of dollars here, and I want to get off this plan. Well, guess what? You have just had open heart surgery. Nobody's going to take you on a Medicare supplement anyway, so you can't do it. Sorry. No, I'm replacing like with like with like. Shooting fish in a barrel, rinse, repeat, do it over and over again. What plan do you have? Medicare Advantage. Okay, maybe we'll talk to you during annual election period. Have a great day. Goodbye. They don't try to fit round pegs in square holes. It just doesn't work. There's plenty of millions of other people who are on the same plans that we're marketing and need help and are orphan clients because their agent is either retired or they are junky agents who don't get back in touch with them. John says, again, do you have companies that pay full commission when they're issued on a guaranteed issue basis? Yes, that's covered under a post on my site called Guaranteed Issue Considerations. There are 4 companies that pay commission on guaranteed issue business, and you better know who they are. Do Twitter and Instagram work also? I got retweeted a billion times about this AT&T thing because I posted the Facebook link to my Twitter and then found a bunch of people already having that discussion about AT&T, and I sent them all a message with my link, and then they told me they're sending that to everybody that they know. So that's my only experience, Carol, with Twitter. I don't know how many seniors are on Twitter. I think that would, just personal opinion, I think that's going to be the last thing that they adopt is Twitter. The first thing that they're adopting is Facebook. So that's where I am. And I can tell on Facebook their age, their income, their likes, their dislikes, what other pages that they like, what industry they came from, and then Facebook takes some of that information and extrapolates, I don't know how, income information from those same people. So that's really awesome. And I can target exactly who sees my message. Instagram, I don't know anything about. I'm sorry. All I know is I see my wife doing recipe pictures and pinning things and all that. I don't know much about Instagram. How long does it take to get contracted? Usually 5 to 10 days is all. And a lot of the companies like Equitable Life and Casualty, Manhattan Life, and CSI, they all have electronic contracting that's done within a couple of hours. And more companies are moving to the automated process with contracting, so that's getting faster and faster. At 11 o'clock, just a couple more here. And I encourage you to take a look at the site, see if it's something that's for you. There's no obligation. You can cancel any time. So do or don't, but at least take a look at it. Matthew says, when you show people Part D options on Medicare.gov, do you suggest they call the 800 number on the Medicare.gov site? Yes. I don't do Part D drug plans. I am certified to do them. I do recertify every year just so I know to answer their questions intelligently. But I call all of my clients. Actually, I have somebody in the office every season call all of my clients and run through those options with them, find out what drugs they're currently on, and that's a service that people absolutely love and they appreciate, so I do that every year for my clients, but I don't spend time doing that. I have somebody that does that for me, but I do recommend that they call directly to the company to sign up. So if I sign up for your membership, I will learn everything I need to know to do this on my own. That's the idea, yes. And I get this question all the time, John. Is there issues with getting contracted if you have past credit issues? Yes and no. Not an issue getting contracted. There's an issue with advance commission. And here's another distinction between Medicare and final expense that I think is kind of neat, actually. Final expense is such a pariah with chargebacks that the final expense companies are really shaky about advancing commission, really scared to do so. And the most that they'll do with credit-worthy people is a 9-month advance on commission. That means you write a case today for $50 a month, right? $600 annual premium, and you're at 100% contract. So they will advance you 9 months of that $600, like $450 they'll give you right now. That's a loan against future commissions. On Medicare, the business is so stable that every company will loan you 1 year's worth of commission. Write the case, here's your first year of commission as an advance. Why? Because the business is so stable. My persistency is 98%. Why is that? Because some people die. So my persistency is that high because of the product that I've chosen to sell, Medicare Supplements. Let me give you a scenario. A lady's paying $230 a month to AT&T. I put her on $120 a month with Mutual of Omaha. Actual case. She's saving $100 a month. Where's she going to go? She's not going to go anywhere. She's going to stay right with me. And somebody will say, well, don't the rates go up on your plan? Well, first of all, it's not my plan. I don't work for the insurance company. I'm an independent agent. I don't care which company you go with as long as it's the best value for you. Okay, first of all, I work for you. And here's the example for you. Your rate is really high. My rate is really low, the best one in the market. They both incrementally go up. Do you want your rate to go up from where it is now, or do you want your rate to go up from $100 less as they both go up together? A rising tide raises all ships. But if your ship is sitting $100 a month more than my ship, you need to get out of your ship quick. So to answer your question, the only challenge with a credit issue is the length to which they're going to advance you or loan you commission, because that's a credit-worthy concern, loaning you the money, right? Some bad life insurance agents, and we've got a whole database of them that we share within FMOs, life insurance agents will go out and write their friends, write their family, get a 9-month advance, and then boom, they're out of the business. So we try to screen against that by sharing these names with each other. It doesn't really happen in the Medicare world. People are not out here to try to get rich quick and write, every senior they see at Walmart and then ditch them and leave, because they're writing them today's rates with better plans. Anyway, and real quick here, would that affect your ability to do business? No. Do you need E&O before you contract? With most companies, no. It's a good idea to have E&O anyway. So if you don't have E&O, you really should have it to protect yourself from a very litigious society. And for $400 a year to have the peace of mind knowing that if you get sued, you're not going to pay your own money to defend you is definitely worth it. So some companies do require E&O still. A lot of them don't. Mutual does not, and they're the biggest. Cigna does not. Some company, Equitable does not require it. A lot of them don't require E&O insurance. And if they did, you can just choose to go with the carriers that don't require it. So to get started, that's not a hindering factor. So that's about it. If I can help you anyway, go to MedicareAgentTraining.com. There's a support tab there. I'd be happy to assist you. Y'all have a wonderful day. God bless you. Thanks for being on the webinar today. I hope I've enlightened you a little bit about the opportunity about the Medicare market and why I believe it's far superior to just doing life insurance or just doing final expense for sure. With very, very, very little cost, you can get in front of a target demographic that has the money to buy what you're selling and will pay those premiums no matter what you do to them, automatically by direct deposit, which means tremendous residual income opportunities for you. And then we did not even get into building referrals and automating your processes and scaling up. All that kind of stuff's covered on the site. Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Steve, Monta, Pat, Jim, Alex, Agatha, Dick. Thanks for the questions. I appreciate it, and I hope to see you on the other side. Invest in yourself. That's the best advice from business I can tell you. Thanks, y'all. Bye-bye.